Welcome back to WGN's Honoring Black History, Sharing Our Stories special. Turning now to efforts to grow a new green era and a sustainable future in Chicago, with inspiration from a mother who led the fight for environmental justice. In South Chicago, an example of the power of growth.
I just want to grow food and farm.
Malcolm Evans is the director of farming for the Urban Growers Collective.
It's a collective that's focused on dismantling racism, doing it in ways that are addressing the healing, addressing the public health impacts of having a broken food system.
Erica Allen is the co-founder and CEO.
The lavender is getting real big and tall.
The two first met when he was 9 years old and she was working on a community garden at Cabrini Green.
When I first met Malcolm, and I was, fresh out of graduate school, he didn't smile and he did not speak, but he showed up every day while we were putting this garden in.
I told her I want to be a farmer. And I was like, I want to be a farmer. And I think for me, it was just more being saved for the trauma.
He was dealing with the trauma of violence and loss. Through a variety of programs, the Urban Growers Collective is cultivating the next generation of growers.
I learned how to be able to take spinach and transplant it to be able to grow it all year round in a hoop house.
From farms to a grocery store on wheels, they're bringing fresh food directly to communities that need it.
We have a fully running, functioning grocery store here on our bus. So we come out to 15 different sites per week.
Thank you. All right, y'all have a good one.
You too, thank you.
And the collective is also partnering in a transformative project here on 9 acres in the city's Auburn Gresham neighborhood.
The Green Era campus is sort of the culmination of 20 years of work.
At the core of the Green Era campus is an anaerobic digester, turning food waste into compost to grow more food and fuel a pipeline of carbon-negative gas.
Chicago doesn't have to continue sending our food waste and our organics to landfills that are located next to communities of color and low-income communities, impacting quality of life, water tables, air.
It's the type of work that's a part of Hazel Johnson's legacy.
I can't even say her first name because she is like a saint.
My mother is known as the mother of environmental justice.
Hazel Johnson and her husband moved to the Altgeld Gardens public housing complex in 1962. He later died from lung cancer. Residents were breathing in foul-smelling air, and she jumped into action after seeing firsthand the high rates of respiratory problems and cancer in the community.
It was not just an adults, it was children too. It was little girls as young as 4 years old at that particular time that really struck my mother's heart like something ain't right out here. So she started investigating and she found out we had 50 documented landfills, 250 leaking underground storage tank, and over 300 different pollutant processes in our neighborhood, industrial processes. So she labeled our community the Toxic Donut.
Johnson started People for Community Recovery. The organization her daughter Cheryl still runs today is now working on plans to turn a shuttered school building into an environmental training center. She says her mother was most proud of getting lead and asbestos removed from housing units. She fought for clean water, mobilized residents, and her activism led to a presidential award and changes at the federal level. She died at age 75 in 2011.
It was a fight. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for her to do this work.
Cheryl sees her mother's fight in ongoing battles for environmental justice and a sustainable future.
I think that the most important thing is that the truth, the environmental truth be told. Because we learn from the past so that we can move forward.
And from the green economy to sweet treats and a taste of history, we're taking you inside a building in Bronzeville where Black businesses and residents have thrived, past and present.
Homemade ice cream, cobblers, cakes. At the corner of 47th and Wabash, Sean Michelle's is serving up sweet nostalgia.
I love ice cream. I literally love homemade ice cream.
Yahya Muhammad started experimenting with recipes in grad school, for a time selling ice cream from the trunk of his car.
I like to call it a journey of faith. Literally, because I had a vision of what we have today before we actually had the opportunity to come here.
The now retired police officer and his wife Nataki opened this location in the Rosenwald courts in 2019.
2, 3.
Part of a new chapter for the Bronzeville building with a storied past.
We stand on the shoulders of those who have paved the way for us. You're talking about the Rosenwald building. You know, you can go down a list of those who are just icons that lived here in the Rosenwald building.
Quincy Jones, Marla Gibbs, Jesse Owens, Ralph Metcalf, Lorian Hansberry.
Gwendolyn Brooks lived there for a time. Joe Louis lived there for a time.
Mona Lisa, men have named you.
And Nat King Cole, John H. Johnson, just to name a few.
It was unbelievable. It was a world in itself.
91-year-old Gwendolyn Johnson lived in the building from 1932 to 1938.
So on hot nights, you could walk around the roof, and if we had been good girls, my mother would give us ice cream, and we'd go and sit up there and eat ice cream on top of the roof, which was an absolute delight.
Johnson's mother was an entrepreneur who owned a hat shop in the complex.
And my mother took off like a butterfly and truly enjoyed it. We were always there. It was a way of her taking care of us.
Construction of what was then called the Michigan Boulevard Garden Apartments was completed in 1929, right before the Great Depression.
There were a lot of things that were offered to people that lived in that building. You were respected when you said, I live in the Rosenwald. It was a wonderful world. It was a special world.
A special world indeed. He is an award-winning chef whose culinary skills, family recipes, and historical research are just some of the ingredients in his Southern-style cuisine. Lauren Jiggets introduces us to Chef Eric Williams, the owner of the much-talked-about Virtue Restaurant. He's one of Chicago's very own.
It's Southern food that is inspired by the migration.
Here at Virtue Restaurant in Chicago's Hyde Park neighborhood, owner and chef Eric Williams is cooking up more than delicious Southern fare. He's also preserving a piece of Black history.
We try to focus on, as much as possible, is really telling the story through food and providing a level of integrity as it relates to the foods of my ancestry and our culture.
Williams says understanding the stories and influence of the Great Migration is vital to the integrity of a dish.
You have to ask yourself, who was here? What ingredients did they bring? What techniques did they bring? And who was handling the techniques, which we've identified as Black Americans. And that is really what Southern food is.
In addition to research, Williams says it is family recipes and fond memories of cooking alongside his grandmother that influences and inspires his dishes.
There are experiences of my grandmother walking me through roasted chicken and things of that sort, baked chicken. And those are things that kind of light me up on the inside.
Williams, who grew up on Chicago's West Side, did not have traditional culinary training when he took a job working under popular Chicago chef Michael Cornick at his now shuttered restaurant MK.
I thought that I would be doing something else, and Michael was so passionate about food, it became infectious.
For nearly 2 decades, Williams honed his craft at the restaurant, and in 2018, he ventured out on his own, opening Virtue. Today, Williams is an award-winning chef who focuses on giving his employees the same training and opportunity he received.
We spend more time trying to develop talent, and that is the way that my growth process took place.
And Williams also places a huge emphasis on hospitality extended to customers and staff alike.
Everyone here has to greet each other.
Williams says patrons have a cultural experience at Virtue, and his dedication to excellence is reflected in the name.
Virtue encompasses my faith practice, and it encompasses my value system as it relates to extending hospitality to people.
Chef Eric Williams, he's one of Chicago's very own.
And it's just so good. Stay with us. There is more ahead as we continue to honor Black history.